Everyone, Christine here from Oz Arab Media. Tonight you're watching us on all our social media platforms. Tonight we are at Wenty Leagues for another yet business networking event, and tonight it is for the Greater Cumberland Chamber of Commerce. And their topic tonight is the effective cash management for business and growth. Let us go in and check what's everyone expecting to see and learn.
I've realized that.
Hello everyone, if you don't mind some exposure, I'm Christine from Oz Arab Media. We are live streaming tonight and we are looking forward to see what you guys are expecting from tonight.
Alright, so basically this is the first time I'm coming into the chamber meeting. So actually to support the other businesses as well, and at the same time to see our personal growth too.
Interesting. What's your domain? So what business are you coming from?
We are doing a free community service magazine, Amount Times, and also we are inaugurating our Happy Life School.
Interesting. And how do you think tonight's topic, cash management for businesses and growth, how does that reflect to what you do?
Basically, this is common for everyone. I believe like everyone.
We want to manage our money, hey?
Because the purpose of the business is obviously, even though service come business, doesn't matter, but at the end of the day, the cash flow is very important to sustain in the business and to run long time. The cash flow, they should learn how to do it and
things,
how to manage things. Otherwise, it will be hardship. A lot of businesses couldn't able to run long time because of this.
Thanks for your input tonight. Enjoy it.
That'll be great because hopefully we're all refilled and set to go. So welcome everyone today to the Greater Cumberland Chamber of Commerce. Once more, I'd like to acknowledge that we are meeting on land that was, is and always will be land of our first people. But while I pay my respects to elders past and present, I also pay my respects to elders of all communities that have walked this land before me, and I trust that their sense of country, sense of peace and togetherness will be with us all in the generations to come. So welcome again today, and let's just get this on the way. Welcome new members. I know we've got a whole lot of new members and their certificates are waiting for them today. We'll acknowledge sponsors and the rest as we go, but let's kick it off with our President's address from Emmanuel Selvaraj.
Thank you, Brian. So this event, as you can see, is a more informal and smaller event. We specifically wanted to have our members spend some time with our accounting partner, Nayan, who's sitting up here, as well as Shantanu. So during the break, please feel free to go and have a one-on-one chat. So we wanted to make sure that it's not too large, so you don't have that one-to-one time. So let me also start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet and pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging. I would also like to acknowledge our council representatives. I don't think any respects. Chris is not here, so Hilda, thanks for coming. There you are. I would also like to acknowledge our sponsors. Kenan, who has sent representatives from the Australian Disability Services, Nayan Patel, of course, Pakioli Services, who's our accounting partner, Alpesh Pajapati from RD Facilities Management, and of course, I'd also like to welcome the Service New South Wales representative. So we will be having, February, we are going to bring services that our government provides for small businesses, and believe me, they are providing, which we as a very welcome sort of event. So the last 3 years have been very difficult, haven't they? We've had COVID, followed by increasing interest rates, and it looks like there will be this fight, but I was at a business summit where the chief economist businesses are sitting on the wall. Unless they start coming down, the sentiment is still very, very rapid. So our chamber has actually the difficulties that you guys face, and we have kept our membership at a ridiculous $50. Everybody says, guys, come on, how can you do this? We are possibly the cheapest chamber in the whole of New South Wales. But you know something? I've seen a lot of members join chambers, right? Businesses. They pay $500, $600. And because they paid that kind of money, you're now under pressure to have your return on investment. So what do? You aggressively go and talk to people. You're wondering where you're getting your returns, right? Now the reason that we have kept it at a very low rate is to ensure that you don't feel that pressure, right? Now the tenets of our chamber is, number one, representation. We advocate for you. Something that you by yourself cannot do. We talk to you through Business News Services and directly to the Small Business Minister on various policies which will be better for you. Socialization. It's not all about business. It's about learning from one another. It can be very lonely at the top. So what do? We come here, and what better time than speaking to another entrepreneur and talking about the staffing shortages, how they are dealing with higher interest rates, higher cost of operation, right? Can't do that in your business. So socialization. And also, considering we have so many different cultures, talking to each other and learning from each other. Each culture have their own differentiators and core competencies. So we all learn from each other. Business promotion. We all know, right? Networking. So we all talk to each other. Now knowledge sharing. Now knowledge sharing comes from events like this, where we get somebody like Shantanu coming and sharing, right? Those gaps in our knowledge that only professionals like themselves can do. And it's not just experts from outside the area, right? We will have Service New South Wales. It is also learning from one another. Where if you have expertise, please come and talk to us and we will get you on stage so you can talk to them. And of course, finally, cross-cultural synergies. So we believe that Cumberland and of course Strathfield and other areas, it's a multicultural society. We have a predominant of businesses here which are migrant oriented. So what we want to do is get the cultures together. Now we have started a small international business subcommittee headed by Dr. Susan Lee, who's of Korean descent, and we are now focusing on China, India and Korea. So that we will take that forward and we'll start bringing businesses from there here. So shortly we are now looking at grants and other things, as well as state delegation here to some of those countries, because we believe that we cannot just be inward focused. As a country with small population, we need to actively look at sourcing products from overseas, as well as looking at people who are looking to set up here and leveraging on those things. Now, digital technology is changing the world we live in. And we as entrepreneurs, AI, IoT, electric vehicles, right, are just some of those things which are going to change the way we live and change the way we conduct our business, isn't it? Now, the problem that we as business entrepreneurs, small business owners have, especially working in a non-IT area, is that we need to actually get a grasp of all that is happening there. It's very, very difficult. So as a chamber, we have started the digital education series. We had someone come out and talk about security. And we are now sourcing somebody to come and talk about AI. How is AI relevant to small businesses in retail shops? We're not talking about the big boys, right? We're talking about the small guys and how that will impact us. And that's a very important thing, right? So, feel free to come and join us. It could be just socialization or whatever the reason. As I said, it's $50. We will have, during the networking session, papers out with QR code. Feel free to just, use it. I know many of you are members here as well. We've had something like 20 members join us, and we couldn't hand out the certificates to all of them. So we've just done part, and the next one will be done at our Christmas function. So we're just handing out 10 today. So welcome to all the new members who have joined us, and enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Emmanuel. So we've got time for our members' spotlight. So I'd first like to invite up here Rolf Fuchs from Fox Coaching. And I think he's got a bit of a video, so let's hope it plays. We have not good volume in this hall. Yeah. Alright, that wasn't much good without the volume. But Rolf, I'm sure you have lots to say, and the video is just a tiny little bit.
Thanks very much, Brian. Thank you, everybody. I'll try and speak a little bit louder than the video was. With Fox Coaching, I provide, I'm a success coach, and I like to talk about I get my clients back in control of their mindset. Sounds like a very wide topic, but in this day and age, as business owners, what stresses do you have? You're dealing with staff, you're dealing with suppliers, you're dealing with your customers, you're dealing with your accounts, with your marketing, and then on top of all that, your family actually wants to see you occasionally. Who are you talking to get those thought processes back in control? Are you allowing all these things to go through your head without actually starting to set your priorities correctly, or are you just reacting to everything? That's where I come in. I like to sit down with a bit.
That's all right. I have quite an extensive questionnaire that I give to my new clients to begin with, and it's about getting to know who you are. And overwhelmingly, when I give out that questionnaire, what I get back from is, and that's what I aim to do, get that clarity, get that direction. And it's not just for the business owners. Sometimes we want our staff to actually work at different levels. If you've got members that are not working together to get them actually working towards the goals and objectives of your business, get them achieving what you're looking for them to achieve. And importantly, if you've got somebody that you've just promoted, or that you're looking at promoting, or looking to get a higher level of people that do step into a new role, is they're very good at their level, but then to step them up, they need to think and work at a different level. And that's what I like to do with those people. So it's not just a business owner, it can be with people that you rely on in your business success to make sure they're working and performing at the level that you're looking at in your business. But I like one-on-one coaching. I don't have the set formula. I work with the person in front of me and I look at what that person is trying to achieve, and sometimes they don't even know what they want to achieve. They just know what they don't want any more of. So let's take it away from what it is I want to achieve, and that's where we get great results from people. So I'll be here tonight, I've got cards, quite happy to have a chat with anybody, but thank you very much for the opportunity, Brian.
Cheers. All right, let's just drop that. All right, now thank you so much, Rolf. I can honestly attest to a lot of what Rolf was speaking about, because right through lockdown, we had an online program going called Open for Business, which we started together. And it was just basically to share, to knowledge share. There were businesses that were closing down, small businesses in front of our eyes. Not because they were bad businesses, but because they never had the know-how to get them through a bad time. When we started it, I remember we were having it, all good things start over a scotch, okay? So we were having a drink, and Rolf, and we said if about 50 people tune in, that will be fantastic. We finished lockdown with 76,000 people tuning in from the MacArthur and surrounding areas in southwest Sydney. So it's that many businesses we were able to help together, so thank you for that, Rolf. All right, we are now going to try our luck with the next piece of AV.
I said, let's try our luck. If not, there's always the visual. Hallelujah! Yay! All right, so next we have up Michael Azzi from the Indos Group. Michael, you're without the mic. You don't need it.
I don't need it. I don't need it. Good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Azzi. I'm a Capricorn. I love walks on the beach. I mean sober. Sorry, wrong group. We are a facilities company now that's grown in leaps and bounds during COVID. We were one of the lucky ones. You know, and I say the lucky ones because a lot of people I know the last few years really struggled. You know, some closed their businesses that have been open for years. Ours is very lucky that we actually doubled our workload. You know, so we were, you know, people were closing down, but our business didn't stop. You know, we're still one of the service industries out there that COVID couldn't stop, which is really one thing. And we now range with a lot of services that we provide. Security, cleaning, traffic control, pest control, ground maintenance, and now we've actually added property management. So we've onboarded now a property and strata company as part of our team. And just to give ourselves a bit of work, we've actually onboarded an in-house legal team. So now we do all your bylaws, your any sort of leases and commercial. So we've all integrated that with Indos Group. Now we provide a one-stop shop for all our, for our clients. So we just thought we'd give ourselves extra work since it was there, and there's nothing better to do. But I mean, it does make it easier for our clients that we can provide that for them at a much probably cheaper rate than what they did. They have to employ 5 or 6 different companies to help them out. We can do that now all under the one roof, one business. We're pretty good. That I was lucky to find some great staff, because that's the hardest part of our industry. AI can't take that yet from us, so we still need that human interaction and staffing. So I can't ask AI to clean a building or to secure a site. We still need the people power to do that, which is great. And that's not without its issues. Like any business, we look at scaling, and we're always learning. And we're part of quite a few networking groups and chambers, and we're always learning. You can't just say that we're there and we've made it, because everything is changing. You know who you're going to meet and what you're going to learn, and we never stop learning. You know what I mean? So we're always trying. So maybe what you're doing in a different industry might actually work for my industry as well, or it might not. But that's how we get ahead is by learning from each other, and I love that. That's a great part of business. And what we do and what we learn, on your business journey, I suppose. You don't know everything at the start, but it's good that you can learn from different people, different cultures, different backgrounds. What are they doing? Can I do the same? And I love that. And I think that I've been lucky enough for that to pay off for us. We're enjoying our journey, growing, with different businesses. So if you need any help in that service area, thank you so much.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks for that. Emmanuel, there are certificates to give out.
Place it in the next power news column.
During the raffle, so make sure your cards are in to Hashi's pink box. During the raffle, they're giving away to us a full page of advertising to the lucky winner today. Wow. So thank you, Paradigms.
Anyone here from 12 Grains Capital? That away for next time. RQC Accountants, they're here. Ziverish. Yep. Gold class accounts. One more, right? Wait. One more. Belmont Portal Accountants. Nope. All right. Let's move on. Sydney Traffic Engineers Proprietary. ABC Money. Sounds good. In case something goes wrong, the original age lawyers. She's not here. Not here. All right. Is we good? 12 grains capital, not back as yet. The bar's busy. We'll hand it to him later. Thank you, Harry. Harry's kindly doing our photographs today, so thank you so much.
Yeah. Harry kindly accepted and said he'll come and do a photograph, so hopefully he'll be our media partner. I left out something in my speech. You know, I was talking to Antonio Sequeira, who's the owner of the photos, right? He sold it, now he's on to his next business. As we were talking, I asked him, what do you think is the most critical skill that a small business owner should have to succeed? And you know what he said? He said, a clear understanding of cash flows. Hence this event today. And I'll tell you, when I spoke to a lot of people, they said, oh, my accountant deals with my business. But guys, I'll tell you one thing. You as the business owner who's got an in-depth understanding of your business need to have at least a basic understanding of accounts. Now, I know that accountants historically tend to look inward, right? They don't understand your business the way you do. So when you are making a decision in terms of strategy, right? One will be a riskier option with more money involved, but you know that's going to work because that's what you need. Whereas less, it's you who's got to make the decision. So cash flow is very critical, right? So
let's move on to our keynote from Shan. Shan, I'll hand you the whatever this is called. And
thanks a lot, everyone. Thanks for coming in. We could have done a lot of things on a relationships. That's what I believe is a meeting for. Connecting with each other, and it's a great platform created by Manuel. The Chamber of Commerce is providing us a good opportunity to talk to each other, meet us, and so that we can build some connections, build some relationships, and work together, grow together. We, as a small business, we should not be working in silo. We should not be feeling ourselves, working hard to compete with big businesses, or maybe technology, or maybe something else. We should all. Let's see how it works. Okay, cool. So as Emmanuel has said, yes, cash is king. That's what they call it, and it's for a reason. People probably forgot the importance of cash when we were in the bit of dreamy land of 2% rate of mortgage. Like many of us probably forgotten that the interest rate could actually go up, and inflation could kick in a country like Australia as well. Even though the economy is not that booming probably, but still inflation could happen due to many reasons, and the cash interest rate also could go up. So, and then people realized all of a sudden when the rate of interest went from 2% to 5% or maybe 6% now in some cases for the mortgage I'm talking about, and not that even the business loans. And then it becomes a bit of hardship to pay all the expenses, pay for your day-to-day business expenses at a higher inflated rate. It's really a challenge. So that's why I thought it was a very timely topic suggested by Emmanuel, and we'll just go through it. As Emmanuel mentioned earlier, that we will have 2 parts to the program. So the first part is part 1, and the second part is part 2. No surprises there. In the first part, we will discuss about something like the challenges of the cash flow and all that, why it is an important topic. Before that, I'll talk about myself as well, and in the second part, we'll discuss some of the strategies or maybe some solutions. Okay, I'll try that. Yeah. Thank you. Is it on? Hello? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Yes, much better. That's all right. Thank you. So I am a chartered accountant from India, and I did my CPA from Australia in 2010. I am an accountant for last more than 22 years, as I remember. Many years out of that, I worked in the corporate world, working on different roles with the finance department, with the financial controllers, with the CFOs, CEOs, shaping their finance transformation journey through different softwares, through different business processes, and some reporting platforms in many areas. So that was about 15 years. I worked with Macquarie Bank, Qantas, Boral companies, and of course I experienced in that process how they manage their business, how they grow their operations. After that, in about 4 years ago, I started working with small businesses. I thought that maybe it's my personal feelings resonate more with the smaller businesses, giving them personalized services where I can help them to develop their vision, grow up to their full potential by optimizing their activities in accounting and transactions processing, you can say, in tax returns, or maybe data. My knowledge of technology in those areas, I frequently use all those softwares, Xero, Myob, QuickBooks, and a lot of others, NetSuite. I don't get to work much with Oracle, but I know a fair bit of Oracle software as well. Okay, so that's about me and my little firm, Amaze Accounting. It's based in Hornsby, and we provide services in accounting, bookkeeping, as you can imagine, also BAS, tax returns, and setting up your businesses in case you need some business advisory in terms of how to manage cash flow, how to create a management reporting platform. So that's one of the services I provide to my clients, other than the normal accounting and tax returns, that every month I schedule a call with them and I present some reports from their own business using the software and using my own tools, where I highlight some of the areas they need to focus on in terms of maybe cash, in terms of efficiency in running some of the transactions processing, or maybe sometimes margin in their sales process. Also for the individuals, I do tax returns as well as help them in case they need to set up their self-managed super funds and their compliance for that. Okay, so that's my services. And coming back to the topic today, I'll start with some of the facts which probably most of you probably would know, but have not realized in the day-to-day life. Australian Bureau of Statistics, it's some time back, it's even before the COVID, they said that half of all small businesses fail within first 3 years of their operations. And when they found out the reason as part of that particular shocking report, or you can say the study, that the ASIC, the Australian Securities and Investment Commission, found 40% of those businesses collapsed because of the issues in their cash flow management, in their cash flow in the operation. Similarly, in the Duns and Bradstreet study, they say that it's even 90% small businesses fail because of their cash flow issues. Only 50% of the companies pay on time, like to other businesses. Like if the small business has a customer of a bigger business, or maybe even another small business, they get their payments only 50% on time. It is a common, because everyone probably is facing some challenges or something else. 64% of small businesses report having invoices go unpaid for at least 60 days, that is 2 months after the due date. So in case there is a due date is after 1 month or the end of the month, then you get probably paid maybe one or 2 more months after that. This also is a little bit older study, I think 2017 or something. Each Australian business owed at that time 38,000, they had outstanding at any point of time. So there are many reasons, or there are many things that we probably need to encounter in our small business day to day. And how do we manage that? How do we overcome those challenges is our skill set. Now, how can we analyze the financial health of a company? If you have to understand today how is your business operating, and I will come back to in the part 2 of the presentation tonight, how one of the steps there. But one of the key things is the different reports that you can generate from your accounting system, like say Xero, QuickBooks, or maybe Mayo. I'm not promoting any particular accounting software, but I mostly work with Xero, and that's why I quote Xero multiple times. And it's a good software to understand your financial position. There are 3 key reports which you can utilize, but there are a lot of other reports as well. I'm not going through all of that, but just to give you an idea, you need to understand your balance sheet. One of the biggest investors in the world is Warren Buffett. And he understands businesses within 5 minutes. So if someone has got a business and he proposes that, Warren, could you look into my business and invest in my business? He openly says that I will take just 5 minutes. But because he studies the balance sheet of each and every company so thoroughly, so he has a good idea of the operations of the company. He can just understand in 5 minutes. Well, you have much more time than that to understand your business. So when you are operating your business, it's very important to understand how your financial position is in terms of balance sheet, in terms of your profit and loss account, where you get all the income expenses, and finally the cash flow statement. Of course, we'll talk more about that. Then there are key financial ratios that you need to look into, which are, let's say, liquidity ratios, like cash ratio. How are you placed in terms of meeting your liquid liabilities, day-to-day liabilities, which are not bit long-term, like your suppliers, your employees, your tax, and other things. If you are able to meet those expenses with your cash position without liquidating your assets. So that is something we cover in the liquidity ratios. Then there are profitability ratios, whether you are able to meet your expenses or how much profit you are generating in terms of return on your investment, in terms of your gross profit margin, net profit margin. They are all traditional terms. They are all traditional studies, but they are equally important. And they all lead to the finally the one outcome is that how much money you have got at the end of the day to pay off your expenses, and whether you are able to meet your expenses or not. Of course, we have the option of taking different loans from our personal sources, from the business sources, but at the end of the day, you need to be mindful of the leverage ratios, how much leverage you are creating in your business. Sorry, this presentation will someone like that. Okay. Now, one of the important aspects that you should cover in your cash flow management or understanding how well your business is running is the budgetary analysis, or you can say a comparison between actuals and the budgets. Budgets, the purpose is that not only to provide you a guidelines of how you are thinking your business would go in the next year or maybe next 3 years, it also helps you to monitor the performance. Once you benchmark something, once you put some line on the sand that okay, this is what I am going to this is how I'm going to operate in the next year or next 3 years. This is how much I'm going to spend in different areas of operation, like IT, or maybe your staff expenses, or maybe some research, marketing. You need to monitor those on a regular basis, comparing with the budgets. Again, there are softwares like Zero and others which help you to monitor the budget as well. Even within your bank account, sometimes if you spend some time there it's very basic, but at the end of the day, it does some work. So if you want to create some budgets, that would really help you in terms of monitoring your performance. In terms of your future forecasting, which will come to for cash flow forecasting, it will also give you accuracy in your data. Only when you create some budgets, then only you will understand how you are performing, or how much your forecast is credible in terms of numbers. And of course, then cash flow management. One of the biggest purpose of the budget is to manage the cash flow. Of course, if you want to restrain yourself, okay, I'm not going to spend more than the budget, then you can actually, maintain a healthy cash flow. So the steps in doing the budgetary analysis are simple. First, you gather some data. So based on your past operations, again, using your accounting software, you get some data and, categorize them in the categories that you want to monitor or track in the future. And then you create budgets based on that, and then every month you review the variances, the difference between budgets and the actual. Then on a monthly basis or quarterly basis, you also analyze the reasons why there are differences, what is the cause of this variance, and that's how finally you get to corrective action. Only when you do the previous steps, like identifying the reasons, then only you can take some steps. And at the end of the day, it's your business. You know best. You know how to fix it. Yes, of course, you need sometimes help from business coaches and mindset coaches. But at the end of the day, you have to take the decision. You have to take the call. Okay, I'm not going to spend any more on marketing. I need to increase my margin on sales. So, budgetary analysis is one of the important tools. Also, in terms of cash flow analysis, you need to have your clear objectives, that this is our operation, this is our agenda, this is what we do, this is what we don't do, and avoid yourselves from spending into new ventures when that may not lead to probably enough cash. Of course, analyze historical data, estimate future income and sales, again creating a forecast. I'll come tell in the next part that how you can create some forecasting tools and estimate future expenditure, and then account for contingencies. Make some plans that you have to pay your taxes. You have to sometimes, there may be the employees may be sick. You have to pay for them even though they are not coming to work. There could be COVID. There could be anything, any other emergencies and contingencies. You need to plan for them. Okay. Also, it is a good way to have some benchmarking. Benchmarking is comparing yourself to the industry standards. There are a lot of statistical records that are available from the Australian Bureau of Statistics. There are a lot of other government portals where you can you can actually compare your business with others, how they are performing, what are the standards. So there are three types of benchmarking. One is the process benchmarking. So you compare your processes with others. What you are doing in your business, which may be efficient or inefficient with others. So you compare with your competitors, you compare with the people or businesses from other industries as well, to understand specific processes that you are following, and then you benchmark in those processes. Then there are strategic benchmarking that you introduce a new technology or a new process, or maybe some third party, third party reliance, like say outsourcing. So if you incorporate those strategic measures, how your numbers will change. And of course, a good tool, like say, there are certain tools, one is called Spotlight reporting. If you use those kind of reporting and you use certain drivers there, you can actually understand how your actions will result in different, forecasting for your cash and profitability. Then, of course, performance benchmarking, whether your certain action is profitable or not, whether your margin is increasing or not, that you can benchmark using performance benchmarking. Then you can also do some scenario analysis to understand in terms of your forecasting, what would be the best case scenario, what would be the worst case, and what is most likely or the realistic picture. Unless you put both of these, worst case and the best case, you always probably think something which is not realistic. The realistic can only happen in between these two scenarios. So you need to create multiple scenarios in your forecast, cash flow forecasting statement or any other forecasting statement, where you can benchmark on the basis of best case scenario and the worst case scenario. Okay. Now, how do you understand how much capital or cash you need for your operations? So there are some industry standards based on which you can, taking the concept of the benchmarking, you can use those measures, or maybe you can use your business model. You can dissect in your business operations what are the different activities you are doing and how much involvement of manual processes or the staff, how much labor hours are requiring, like you need, and what is the rate that you are paying. Based on that, each and every activity you can dissect, and that's how you can calculate your, the cash you need for operations. Of course, there are certain other things. You need to understand your receivables, you need to understand your payables, which we will discuss in the second part again. And there, you have to balance out between how much you can do the operations using the leverage of the loans or something like that, as an external funding. Then, of course, you have to consider factors like seasonal changes, or the numbers, the sales, how it impacts your business in terms of in different seasons in your operations, and of course what is the current market trends. Okay, so we'll finish with this different challenges for small businesses and how we can overcome them using proper planning for the cash flow operation. The first thing or most important which is a factor that impacts us is the growth. Like sometimes there is unplanned growth. One of my clients is in the NDIS sector. They started their operations in 2019, just around that COVID time, and then they had to shut down. After that, the company was existing. It was they restarted the company in around late 2000 or early 2022 maybe, after when the COVID was a bit subsiding. They started with around 100,000 worth of sales in 1 month, in month of June 2022. Then they started growing. So 100,000 became 150,000, and then quarterly in the first quarter of 2022, it became around roughly around $350,000 worth of sales. But suddenly, because their business worked well and there was a lot of need in the NDIS market, and they had some good connections with their clients, they provided good services, all of a sudden their business shot up. And they also got into recruitment of staff for the disability sector, aged care sector. And their operations went to more than $1.5 million in the last quarter of 2022. So all of a sudden their business from quarter 1 to quarter 4 went almost 4 times. Well, that was good. The business is growing, but they faced enormous challenge of cash. How to manage the cash now? They saw their business is growing. They had a lot of activities happening, money coming to their bank account, but at the same time, the expenses are mounting. At the same time, their liabilities to the government were mounting because they had a lot of employees. They had to pay their PAYG, superannuation, and all other things. So sometimes because the growth is unplanned, you are not in a position to monitor the requirement of the cash and how you plan your activities. So that is very crucial as well. Sometimes the small businesses are not aware of the compliances, different things, like when taking the example of the same company, when they were only 100,000 a month, probably they were not even thinking of payroll tax. But by the end of the year, they the payroll tax, and they have to pay additional 5% on their payment to the employees. Sometimes the business is very labor intensive, and the government says that you have to increase the pay rates to your employees by 10%, by 15% because of the inflation, because of COVID, whatever be the reason. And your business is not prepared for that kind of change. So it becomes an enormous challenge to organize the cash for making the payments to those employees. Nowadays, technology is driving a lot of small businesses like ours as well. So you need to fund those investment in technology. We'll discuss some of the solution after the break. And of course, marketing. We need to continuously spend on marketing. You need to continuously, promote ourselves, promote our operations, and reach out to new people. And sometimes we are not aware of the lower margin that we charge to our customers in order to promote services, or maybe making ourselves available to different sectors in the customers. We sacrifice our margins. So when you sacrifice that margin, even though you are doing the sales, but you are not getting enough cash to grow your operations. Okay, so these are all the challenges, and we'll come to the part 2 when we discuss about the solution. So meanwhile, you can have a break. Nayan is available here to take some questions if you have any regarding any aspect of the business, and also I'll be available during the chat. Thank you.
Thanks, Shan. Shan, actually, if you hang on here,
sure.
If there are any questions at this point, we won't wait for part 2. Let's just have them now. So the floor is open. If anyone has a question, please ask.
Thank you.
Yes, Alex.
Yes. Do you need the mic?
No,
okay.
Yeah, so from a cash flow aspect, how do you, when I say how do, is it important to have a next 1 year plan and review that in every 3 months, like how did I perform in the last 3 months?
Give me the mic.
Or
One second, hold this
Sure.
mic.
Is there anything?
So in terms of the time period of what, from your experience, what do you recommend? Like, is it important for us to review the last 3 months of what we had set the plan and how did we perform? Is it 3 months, 6 months, or every month? What is a better time period to get better feeling for cash flow?
Well, in terms of historical, it depends upon your business. What is your business and how it works? Some of the businesses are seasonal, so you have to take at least 1 year of data. Sometimes the businesses are more or less uniform, so you can take 3 months or 6 months. But in terms of future cash flow, which is the forecast, you need to have at least 3 to 5 years of vision. Otherwise, you cannot grow your business. But yes, of course, in terms of monitoring the performance, how you are getting results in terms of certain changes, in order to monitor the performance, you need at least 12 months of data. So you should prepare a budget, and budget should be at least for 1 year, and then you compare the results every month in that budget for that year, how you are performing. But in terms of taking some steps which are a bit long term, you need at least 3 to 5 years of cash forecast. Anyone else?
Anyone else from the academic room? All right, well, there's nibblies out there. The bar is still open, and let's have a short break, and we'll be back for part 2.
This valuable workshop about cash flow and how it can benefit a business to go up or down. Now, while everyone is having a break, we would like to speak to the president. Hello, Emmanuel.
Hi, how are you?
So how do you see tonight is going?
It's going well. I think the topic is very critical for the businesses, because as Shantanu has mentioned, cash flow is really, really critical for businesses. And against what most people think, it's not businesses which have no revenues which close. It's businesses which have too steep a growth and who cannot manage cash flows who actually close.
That is
really
true.
Look at the businesses closing. So cash flow, especially during steep growth, and as a business, how you cater to the cost of servicing that increased growth is a very critical aspect. And a lot of entrepreneurs at the moment, unless they have some very sophisticated understanding of financial cash flows, they cannot.
That is very true, and it's very interesting that each and every industry would benefit from this type of workshop.
It cuts across every single industry, and that's the thing.
That
cash
is
flows
true.
Across, it's agnostic in terms of verticals.
Thank you for that. Now, speaking a little bit about you, can you just please maybe present or tell us more about you, who you are in regards to the chamber and all that?
Yeah, sure. I'm the president of the Greater Cumberland Chamber.
Yeah.
I actually have a couple of small businesses, as well as I work for a very large, multi-billion-dollar company. I actually do their sales operations in the software area.
Okay.
So that actually sort of allows me to appreciate the technological advancement that is really happening up in the corporate area.
Yeah.
What that means is in 5-10 years time, that will cascade down to the small businesses.
Yeah.
But I don't think the small business entrepreneurs are really prepared in terms of the knowledge to leverage on the strategic technological advantages that they can have.
Interesting.
Right? And that's where our chamber comes in, where we try to bring in experts. In this area, our next thing, we're trying to look at an AI expert to come and talk to the
Perfect.
SME person.
And in regards to members, is everyone welcome, and how do we find you?
Absolutely. So one of the key things is, as I mentioned earlier in my report, we are in a cross-cultural synergies is a critical component of our chamber.
Yeah.
We have members from Turkish, Egyptian, Korean, Sri Lankan, Indian, on the board.
You want to collaborate and expand.
And looking at Cumberland, which is very migrant dominated, that's the way to go. So they could find us on GreaterCumberlandChamber.org. That's our website, and you can find us on Facebook as well. Just join us for any of our events. As I mentioned earlier, our membership is very low, and we tend to keep all our event entry fees very low as well. So it doesn't sort of put any additional financial pressure on it.
Well, we shall spread the word. Enjoy your bite now, and thanks for your time. Yes, as you guys can see now, everyone is very busy at the moment, having a little break. We'll try to speak to some people waiting maybe here. Hello there. Sorry, I put you straight into the spotlight, but while you're waiting for a bite, can you tell us where you're coming from and how do you think tonight is benefiting you?
I'm in the retired class, so I don't really have business aspirations.
Yeah. And how do you think tonight has been of a benefit?
It's always interesting to see things on the other side of the fence.
That's interesting. All right, thanks for your time. And there you go, the queue is moving. All right, let's have a little... Hello, guys. While you are having a bite, let me say hello and introduce yourselves and tell us, how did you benefit from tonight? Would you like to start?
Yeah, I think it's really important that businesses learn how to manage their cash flow.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than having a business and dipping into your cash flow and realising that you can't make your expenses, and it's quite traumatising mentally and physically on your family. So it's important that most businesses learn how to manage that correctly to make sure they succeed.
Very true. And what type of industry do you have?
I work for the council.
For the council?
For the government, everyone runs.
For the government. Do you still need to know about cash flow?
Yeah, so we learn how to use very little cash flow and make a lot of impact for our community. That's the story of Cumberland Council.
Very interesting. Well, thanks for being here tonight. What about yourself?
I'm retired.
Why not? It's still interesting to learn and know things about cash flows and businesses, don't you think so?
Yes, I have a book in the car where a guy wrote a book 3 years ago, and he gave a speech up in Kingaroy when I was there in the height of COVID.
Okay.
Which I believe he should rewrite the book because he's missing a whole lot of points there. One of the things that could be improved is the financial literacy of our people who go to schools. That most people do not understand the principle of compound interest, and when you get a housing loan, paying back the money, a simple formula of if you pay just 10% more of what the banks want you to pay back, a 25-year loan drops to 7 years. And if you double that, it will drop to 5 to 7 years, depending on the interest rates. Now, why do our young people who have to spend over $1 million for a house, they should need to know that, unless they want to be white slaves to our big financial institutions, to which I want to set up with Australia Post a strategic alliance to form regional credit unions that basically are non-profit. Australia Post will turn around their $220 million loss that they declared last financial year to being a profit, which would then have a great impact to keep the normal reserve services or mail services still running by cross-subsidising by using the commissions they gain from my idea that's been 10 years in the making.
Wow. Very interesting, and I think we can keep on talking for hours about this very big topic. Hopefully tonight can have helped a lot.
This guy
Michael, hello. How are you?
I'm good.
Good to see you here.
Always great to see you guys.
Tell us, how do you think tonight has been of a benefit for you and your industry?
Look, it's good. Our industry, because we're so versatile, we can work with anyone. But these are the hot topics at the moment.
Money.
How you do your tax, where your money goes, how it comes, how you spend it, what you're going to save. This is, unfortunately, this is what it's become now. And especially like what the gentleman over here said, we need to teach our young kids
That's true.
what it means to have money, how to use it, how to save it, how to make it work for us. Most of us have young children, and this is the part that we need to teach them.
That's true.
And we need to learn it too, because it's changing so much, and we need to stay on top of it before it gets away from us.
That's true. That maybe brings me to the next question. Do you think a company like yourself, being for years now in the market, would still have a fear of closing down because of cash flow?
Always. We're a service industry, so we have staff, we have overhead, we've got all these costs. So if it's not managed properly, it can get away from you very quickly. Like our bills are in the thousands. They're not small bills. These are $1,000 bills. So you miss one or two bills, and then all of a sudden you're in the red, and it's very hard to you become in that cycle where you're trying to stay afloat, and you drown deeper and deeper. So these little things, even though no matter how big or how small you are, we see a lot of big companies liquidating now. They don't have the cash flow. They've overspent. Things have changed. Markets change. And
very interesting.
Yeah, it
very
hurts.
interesting.
It can
It
hurt
does.
very quickly. So, you know, we can only try. You know, we try and put good people around us who know what they're doing to try and learn from them, and they advise us, and the rest is luck.
Thanks for that. I think we are learning too from this. I'll let you enjoy your meal. Thanks for your input, and we'll catch you around. Okay, guys, as you can hear and see tonight, everyone is interested about how to keep their businesses going in regards to cash flow and in regards to, money. That's what our Greater Cumberland Chamber of Commerce were talking about tonight. Catch us soon.